Hello and welcome to the very last part of this course in the fundamentals of Python game development. I hope you've enjoyed it so far, and this final video will be quite a simple and short one. And I will also do a tiny bit at the end of this video which will explain what you can do to practice Python by yourself rather than me guiding you how to do it. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that the user can set up their own settings, and it isn't number 2, it's actually number 4, which is what we're looking for. And we're going to do self, and it's going to be create setup. And if we run this now, number 4 is, yeah, that's the correct one. If we run this, you'll see that there's nothing actually created for the create setup, and that is what we're going to be creating now. So underneath the setup game, I'm just going to do create setup, and nothing needs to be passed in here except for self. And we're going to run self reset all settings, and that's just going to make it so that the monster is all asleep and all that sort of stuff. Print, and this is just a warning, this option lets you set for settings for monster. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the width choice, and that's going to be gathered using the input function and how wide do you want the game board to be, and the default is 5. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do try and accept a try catch statement, and that is so that if they try to import a character which is not supported, then it won't let them. And the way that we do this is the same way we did it before, which is by casting it to the data type of an integer, and if it doesn't convert, then it isn't a number, and then we get a value error exception, which we then catch by setting the choice equal to whatever the default was, which we said. Now what we do here is we do self max width is equal to width choice, and that's all we need to do to change the value of the width of the board. And then we do the same thing again and again for the different values or the different settings that we want to be changeable. And so this one is going to be height, and that's going to be changed to how high do you want it to be, and this is going to be height. We're going to change height here, height, and then finally 2 more changes, height and height. And then finally, the last thing that we are going to fix the indentation there. The last thing we're going to change, or let the user be able to change, is going to be how many moves the monster can make. So it's going to be monster move count choice, and this statement is going to be changed to how many moves should the monster get for each of your moves. And the default here is 2. And what we're going to do here is we're going to change this to be monster move count. Monster move count. And then this is going to be changed to monsters move per turn, and this is going to be monster move count choice. And now it's everything we need to have set up except for this bit here, that needs to be a 2. And then finally we need to do self.setup game, and that is the entire project now complete. It will work exactly as you expect it to, and there are easily 4 or 5 different ways you can improve and alter this game to make it more enjoyable to play. And for example, you could make it so that you have multiple traps, multiple monsters, or multiple traps for a single monster. That's different ways that you can do it. And also remember, there's the save and load game which can change, and the way I'd recommend you do that is the same way that we have customized setup. However, instead of having the user input the actual code or the input input the values, you have it so that they're stored in a text file or an XML file, and then you pass through that XML file to load in the settings, and you output to an XML file to save those settings, and that will make it so that it's usable. Or you could also use a database as well if you wish. And finally, another way in which you could improve or alter this is that you could have where the character starts randomized as well. That is one way. And finally, that should say set. There we go. And finally, the last way that I know off the top of my head that you could improve this is by making it so that once you find the flask, you have to carry the flask to an exit point, which could be randomly generated and displayed on the screen once the flask has been found. So if you want to try and do any of those, then feel free. I'm sure you'll have fun making them, and I'll just show you how the game works. So if we start a new game, and we need to go down to the bottom and remove the visible traps and the flask to make the game a bit more fun. And the way that and we need to also make it so that the monster is not visible by default, and that is now the game complete. And all you have to do is just wander around trying to find the flask and hoping you don't set off the traps. And I got eaten by the monster there, so I ran straight into the monster while he was dead. So thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this course. I'm Alex Bowers from learntoprogram.tv, and I hope to see you soon.